Hello everybody, I'm Brian Seth Hurst. Welcome to the Happenstance Chef. On this week's episode, I've taken Linda Nicolai's suggestion to make honey lavender creme brulee. Actually, it's likely to be a very kind of relaxed episode today because we're making, as I said, honey lavender creme brulee, and the lavender is just wafting, and you know lavender is really good to relax. So here's the layout. We're going to be using these 4-inch Ramekins roasting pan because we're going to be filling that with water for bain-marie. As we get to that, I'll explain that. There's a couple additions to the kitchen, to the Happenstance kitchen. This is a Duck's Top induction cooktop. So you have to have iron metal at the bottom. I actually want to protect this, so if you get one of these, sometimes it gets scratched, so I just put this doesn't interfere with the conduction at all. Just put a little piece of parchment there. Okay, so what we're going to do is the recipe calls for heavy cream, and by the way, like, comment, subscribe. With that, now I'm going to add 2.5 tablespoons of honey. And I love honey on everything. By the way, it is also a great inhibitor of bacteria, just like sugar is. So if you've got a wound and you don't have any antibiotics around, you can just spread some honey on it.
The lawyers are saying that you need a disclosure here. That you are not a doctor.
This is a vanilla pod, and believe it or not, I actually got this at Costco. This is also a new addition. So this is a Miyabi knife. I must admit, I was totally sold on German knives. Then I looked at Japanese knives. This kind of falls right in between. So maybe we'll do an episode on that. But what I'm going to do is cut this. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
This is literally the first thing you cut with that, no?
It is. It is. And so what I want to do here is open the vanilla pod. And we're going to use the seeds and the paste that's inside and the pod because, of course, we're starting to infuse this with the vanilla and the honey and the lavender. We don't want this to boil. We want it to simmer. And, you know, I mean, with regular creme brulee and stuff, it would just be terrible if I cut myself on the sharpness of this knife. With regular creme brulee, some people use vanilla paste that you can buy, that's fine. And some people use vanilla extract. And I just, because of the alcohol content in the vanilla extract, I just think this way is better. We're going to strain them out later, so that's why I'm throwing the whole pot in anyway. In all fairness, in all honesty, I thought, well, I'm going to have to mess around with this recipe because I really don't want to fail with heavy cream again and again and again. So the first time I tried it, I only used 1 tablespoon of, this is culinary lavender. So now we're going to put this in here. This is the very first challenge I'm doing from a viewer, and it was relatively simple. If someone gave me something complicated and I would still have to do. Someone's asked for my mother's brisket. Obviously, they knew my mother was a champion brisket maker. Okay, so once that starts to foam, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to whisk it pretty briskly, and then I'm going to let it sit for 45 minutes. And in that 45 minutes, hopefully, the flavor of the lavender and the honey and the vanilla will all combine. And here we go. We're foaming. So now I'm going to stir, right? Be back in 45 minutes. This has been covered for 45 minutes, and you can see the lavender and the vanilla and all that. So I'm going to strain this now, but once I mix it again, I'm going to strain it twice because I want it like super velvety smooth. So this is the first straining just to get all the stuff out that's in there. And there we go. Okay, now I have pre-mixed these 6 egg yolks. I'll just stir it again. Okay, so I want to whisk this in slowly now. I'm going to strain this mixture into this cleaner cup here. This is a bain-marie. I still don't know why it's called a marie bath. But we're going to fill this up with water halfway. I want to pour an even amount in each of these, so I count 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I do the 4-ounce thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I have a little left, so now I look and I go, that doesn't. All right. So you want to be careful. I've put some water in here already. You want to be careful not to get any water in the custard mixture. All right, the final bit of water is in there. We're up to halfway. Now we're going into the oven. Got to be extra, extra careful to make sure that the water that is in here does not splash into the custard. These need to cool, but you can see these are pretty well set. They're jiggling just a little bit, and that's the way it should be. Now it's time to let these cool a little bit in here, remove them, put them on a cooling rack, wait for them to be entirely cool, then put them in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. 4 hours is better, overnight is even better. Because once they're cooled and once they come out of the refrigerator, then we can create the crust on top, which is the brûlée part of the crème brûlée. It's time to brûlée, so the way we're going to do this is just to sprinkle a little bit of sugar, just a little layer, something that's, you know, flammable. Andrew, would you like to step in?
Yeah.
You can do this any color you want. You can make it as dark and as crisp as you want. Go right ahead, Andrew, start. But you're melting the sugar and you're forming this delicious crust on top. Ooh, that smells great. I love that smell. That caramelization of the sugar.
There you go. Is that it? Is that good?
Yeah. The other way to do this is line them up and just put them all under the broiler.
That's not
Below,
fun.
I give you the recipe. A little smoky here. Below, I give you the way to do that. By the way, feel free to comment.
That does look good, though.
It does not. Throw a little sugar on here. Give it another shot.
Got that crunchy top.
As does this. Okay, here we go. Honey Lavender Crème Brûlée.
So velvety smooth.
And the lavender. You can actually taste the lavender. It's good. So that's 2 tablespoons of lavender. Really good. Thanks for watching The Happenstance Chef. Thank you, Linda Nicolai, for your suggestion to make honey lavender creme brulee. Perhaps I will text you tomorrow so that you can come over and get one and try it. And thanks to the rest of you for tuning in. You've been watching The Happenstance Chef. Delicious.